Right now, Earth has 1,500 active volcanoes. They stretch across the Pacific Ocean in a ring so enormous it covers 40% of the planet's surface. Scientists call it the Ring of Fire. Every major earthquake, every major eruption, almost all of it happens here. And beneath this ring, beneath the ocean floor, beneath the continents, beneath the rock we've built civilizations on, they are all connected. The same tectonic system, the same mantle pressure, the same geological heartbeat. Yellowstone showed us what one supervolcano could do. But Yellowstone is one pressure valve on a connected system that circles the entire planet. So what happens when the whole system fires at once? Today, we run the full timeline, minute by minute. What actually happens the moment every active volcano on Earth erupts simultaneously? First, let's understand what we're dealing with. There are 1,500 active volcanoes on Earth's surface. That doesn't include submarine volcanoes, the ones on the ocean floor. Add those, and the number rises to over 3 million. 3 million volcanic vents on a single planet. And they are not separate. They are pressure valves, connected through the same tectonic plates that have been shifting, crashing, and subducting for 4.5 billion years. The Ring of Fire alone connects 452 volcanoes across 40,000 kilometers. It runs from New Zealand through Indonesia, the Philippines, Japan, Alaska, down the western coastlines of North and South America all the way to Chile. Every nation on this ring lives within range of at least one active volcano. In geological history, we've seen what a sustained multi-point eruption looks like. The Siberian Traps, a volcanic event 252 million years ago, wasn't simultaneous. But it was sustained, covering an area the size of Australia in lava for 250,000 years. It triggered the Permian-Triassic extinction. 96% of all marine species. 70% of all land vertebrates. Gone. That was slow. That was spread over 250,000 years. What we're describing today is that compressed into a single morning. 0 hour. 6:14 a.m. Pacific time. The seafloor off the coast of Japan cracks. Not a tremor. Not a warning. It tears. A pressure release that has been building for millennia finally finds its exit point. Within 3 seconds, Mount Fuji, Mount Ontake and Sakurajima erupt simultaneously. 3 eruption columns rising above one of the most densely populated nations on Earth. The shock wave travels the Ring of Fire at the speed of sound. Domino, one pressure node triggering the next. By 6:18 a.m., Indonesia. 127 active volcanoes across 13,000 islands begin erupting simultaneously. Krakatoa, Tambora, Merapi, Rinjani. All at once. The sound, a chorus of explosions across the entire archipelago, creates a pressure wave that circles the entire globe. By 6:22 a.m., the Philippines. Mount Pinatubo's 1991 eruption was the second largest of the 20th century. Multiply that by 24 active Filipino volcanoes firing at the same moment. By 6:31 a.m., the Western Americas. Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, the entire Cascade Range, Popocatépetl over Mexico City, the Andes chain across Chile and Peru. 200 volcanoes erupting across a 15,000-kilometer coastline. Within 17 minutes of 0 hour, every major tectonic pressure zone on Earth has discharged. 1,500 eruption columns rise simultaneously into the stratosphere. From space, Earth doesn't look like a blue marble anymore. It looks like it's on fire. And the first casualties are not from lava. A simultaneous discharge of 1,500 volcanic systems releases more acoustic energy than every nuclear weapon ever detonated in human history, combined. In 17 minutes, the pressure wave arrives at every populated center within hours. Windows shatter. Structures weakened by seismic activity collapse. Communication systems fail globally within 40 minutes. Then the pyroclastic flows begin. 450 miles per hour. 700 degrees Celsius. And with 1,500 eruptions happening simultaneously, there is no safe direction. No evacuation route that isn't already compromised. Tokyo. Manila. Jakarta. Lima. Mexico City. Quito. Reykjavik. Every major city on or near the Ring of Fire sits within pyroclastic reach of at least one active volcano. Within 90 minutes of 0 hour, every one of these cities is gone. 3.2 billion people live within 100 kilometers of an active volcano. On the morning the system fires, most of them don't survive the first 2 hours. Stop. Because here's what most disaster content won't tell you. The pyroclastic flows. The lava. The immediate destruction. That's not what kills most of humanity. What comes next is invisible. It's already in the upper atmosphere. And it will be there for decades. If you're still watching, you already know this channel doesn't stop at the explosion. We follow the consequences all the way to the end. Subscribe. Because what comes next changes the entire story. Sulfur dioxide. Each of Earth's 1,500 volcanoes releases SO2 into the stratosphere when it erupts. Combined, the first 24 hours inject an estimated 5 billion tons of sulfur dioxide into the upper atmosphere. For comparison, the 1991 Pinatubo eruption released 20 million tons and dropped global temperatures by ½ degree Celsius for 2 years. We are talking about 250 times the Pinatubo output. In a single day. Within 14 days, sulfur dioxide combines with atmospheric water vapor to form sulfuric acid. It descends as acid rain across the entire planet. Every unprotected freshwater source on Earth, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, becomes acidic. Undrinkable. In many cases, lethal. Every internal combustion engine exposed to the ash fails within days. Global aviation, 100,000 flights per day, goes silent permanently. There is nowhere to fly from. There is nowhere to fly to. The ash layer is not localized. It is planetary. Within 72 hours, no surface on Earth receives direct sunlight. Anywhere. Solar panels generate zero power. Crops that depend on photosynthesis begin dying within weeks. Not months. Weeks. By day 30, every ocean surface is coated in a thin layer of volcanic glass and acid. Phytoplankton, the microscopic organisms that produce 50% of Earth's oxygen and anchor the entire marine food chain, begin dying in mass quantities. The ocean's food chain doesn't collapse dramatically, it collapses quietly. Invisibly. By the time most people understand what is happening, it is already gone. By month 3, global average temperatures drop 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. Not the 5 to 10 degrees of a single supervolcano winter. 15 to 20. The difference between a warm afternoon and permanent Arctic tundra. The northern hemisphere enters a glacial phase within 6 months. Rivers freeze. Coastlines ice over. The crops that survived the acid rain and ash die under permafrost. The UN's emergency agricultural reserves, designed to sustain 8 billion people for approximately 10 weeks, are exhausted by month 2. There is no resupply. There is no harvest next season. the season after that doesn't exist either. By year 1, the global population has declined by an estimated 2 billion. Not from the eruptions themselves. From famine, cold, disease, contaminated water. The total systems failure that follows when every civilization on Earth loses power, food, and clean water simultaneously. States close their borders. To refugees first. Then to everyone. Military food distribution lasts as long as fuel lasts. Which is not long. Hospitals go dark. Water treatment plants fail. Cities that once held millions begin to empty, not in an evacuation, but in a slow dispersal of survivors moving toward warmth, toward food, toward water. By year 3, the UN's worst-case projection is 5 to 6 billion dead. Not from lava. From the darkness that follows it. But here is the part the disaster models almost never discuss. Earth has done this before. 252 million years ago, the Siberian traps erupted continuously for 250,000 years. The result was the Permian-Triassic extinction, the deadliest mass extinction in Earth's history. 96% of all species gone. And yet, life came back. Not quickly. Not easily, over millions of years. 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano erupted. A single eruption far smaller than what we've described today. It reduced the entire human population to an estimated 10,000 individuals. A species on the edge of extinction. We rebuilt civilization from 10,000 people. Here's what that means. Volcanic soil is the most fertile soil on Earth. The regions buried in ash today become the richest agricultural zones in 500 years. Ecosystems that were destroyed are replaced by new ones, more resilient, more adapted, more complex. The planet doesn't end. It resets. So the question is not whether life survives a simultaneous global eruption. Life has survived worse. The question is whether the version of civilization that survives still resembles us. Whether the knowledge we've built, medicine, science, engineering, language, survives the darkness long enough to be passed forward. The honest answer is, we don't know. But Yellowstone reminded us that the ground is not solid. And today reminds us that Yellowstone was never alone. These volcanoes don't act in isolation. They sit on tectonic plates. Plates that have been moving, slowly, imperceptibly, for 4.5 billion years. And those movements are not random. They follow a pattern, a pressure system. A geological logic that we are only beginning to understand. What if those plates stopped moving gradually, and shifted all at once? Not over millions of years. In a single morning. What that does to the ocean floor, what it does to every coastline on Earth simultaneously, is a different kind of end entirely. And that answer is next.